Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the finale of Minish Cap and Gooey's Dungeon Dive, season whatever we're on.
This is it, folks.
Look at that. Look at that. We're here. It's Gooey and Corey, by the way. What's up, Corey?
Howdy, howdy.
We're powering this bad boy up.
Sword looks so sharp now. Look at that.
This is going to be the most... we're gonna be interacting with like story and this season at least. We got the Force Sword. We're seeing our work finally come to fruition.
Legendary blade restored.
I am excited for this one. I think this is gonna be a fun run. Things could go wrong is the thing. The Sacred Blade. Alright, we're ready. We got the doorway. Oh, yeah, and then we're gonna go get some, before we go to the dungeon, we're gonna get some lore. How about that?
Oh, yeah, get a little cutscene action.
Yeah, look at the images. I love the stained glass. Yes, the Light Force. Where it be?
I actually think this is really cool that like this is the intro to the game, like the little intro cutscene, and you actually get it in game. I think it's a really neat little tie-in.
It kind of it's like the opposite of the sacred hero or legendary hero in Wind Waker, where it's like they're like, okay, this is also the start of the game, where it's like this like late game drop of this.
Yeah.
But there's a little more context in this one, right? Isn't there a couple extra?
Yeah, it's basically the same one, and then you get the reveal. The reveal towards the end.
I love all these panels here.
Yeah.
I guess you could call them.
This art looks really cool. This right here. Force of the Golden Light, embodied in Hyrule's princess, shown forth upon the lands.
Eslo. Hey, it's the king. We're cool.
He's a good guy, right?
You've been far too generous. Oh no. Oh no, they blew up the king.
It's Vati.
Wow. Dang. I feel like it looks like that was like you getting hit by a blunt object.
Yeah.
Link got knocked out. he just threw a
He does a nice little spin beforehand like it's a game over.
Oh. I love that. This is a very cute animations.
Yeah.
Yes. So here we are. The Light Force. There's some classic Zelda right here.
Oh yeah. This is really cool setup. We're gonna get there in just a second, but I think this is great setup for coming into the last dungeon.
Oh yeah. I think you can read this too, huh? Oh yeah. Oh, this is just the same thing. What, we just gotta go back out now, yeah.
Yeah.
You ever do the thing where you forget how to power up the sword?
I think I did. I think I have in this playthrough, yeah.
Where you're supposed to like hit a button to drop it, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I just need to press up against it.
Yeah.
I think I did that like a couple elements ago.
Yeah.
So here we are. I guess this is the next dungeon.
Whoa. There's some
what in the name?
There is some redecorating that went on.
Everyone in the castle. And then, oh yeah, we get the... I always associate this song with Ganon, but I guess they decided when they made this that it's more of a Hyrule Castle theme than anything,
Yeah, this is the Hyrule Castle theme from A Link to the Past, just slowed down.
Yeah.
Slowed down and all spooky. I love it.
I started to think like, oh, that's the Ganon song, because I think also Ganon's Tower, right? In Wind Waker, they use this.
I thought Ganon's Tower is Ganon's theme.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It is. It's done. They kind of make. They kind of
They always mix in some of that stuff.
I love this extra little ability where we can like. Oh yeah, I don't need to let it charge, do I? This will artificially inflate the length of this video, charging up my sword beams.
We need it to be longer.
Yeah, we get some info from these guys, which is cool.
Pop quiz. You know what that guy's name is?
No. What is it?
It's Potho or Potho.
Potho. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
This guy doesn't even say anything. He's just like, "Thank you." Do you have to? Do you actually have to unfreeze them all?
I think you only have to unfreeze that guy to get him out of the way.
Okay. Well, you got to be nice and get everyone else, right?
Dark Hyrule Castle.
Look at this. Look at the vibes here. The green flames.
Very spooky. Purple and green. Great choice, Vati.
Those are the most evil colors I can think of.
Yeah, Vati's interior decorator just went on a spree.
Is there anything special? Oh, this is the recharge station here. So you always oh yeah, I got the remote bombs, by the way, which I don't think I've ever gotten. So yeah, the final dungeon is also sort of an inverse look. It's got a little bit of Dark World vibe to it. Yeah. Obviously, Dark Hyrule Castle. Oh,
got some trick doors.
Whoops.
I mean, with this whole section that we're in right now, which we're gonna see when you get up to the next room and so on and so forth. But like, I think our objective
is to find the king.
Yes, I think it's so cool. Like, that's such a neat twist. You start out like in the basement of the dungeon. It's not like you're walking in the front door. It's like you walk back out of the sanctuary and it's like, what the heck is going on?
Which is like perfect, because then our goal is to kind of infiltrate the basement, you know? Is this one of those?
Old little trickster.
Yeah, so I did grab a couple things. Like, I got this, can I do it? That move?
Yeah.
I got that move. I got all the moves, I think.
I did too. That was one of the main things I made sure I did, is I got all of the Tiger Scrolls.
I didn't... Oh, there's our king. Can we get him from here? No. We need a key.
King.
I didn't do everything. There's some things that I did. I have completed more of this dungeon than or of this game, I should say, than I ever have before. But I didn't get everything. Mm-hmm. There's some things that I like. This we got this here, you know.
Ooh,
okay.
Sneaky.
Starting to get maybe a little puzzle action going here. But yeah, there's some stuff that it's like, yeah, this is probably fun for like more completionist stuff, but it's not what I was looking to do.
Yeah,
but fair. I appreciate it still.
I wanted to. One of my main objectives was going to be to fuse kinstones with all the Tingle Brothers, but for whatever reason, I have such a shortage of just like regular green kinstones. I don't know what's going on.
I had that too. I ran into a couple of them, and I was like, oh, I don't have this. I think I actually even saw all of them, and I was like, well, I would figure this out, but I'm not gonna bother. Mm-hmm. Am I stumped already?
You stumped? You lost?
I am.
That's why I really like this section. Like, there are some actually pretty good navigational puzzles in this. Nothing super complex, but a good amount of like, wait a minute, so where do I go now?
Oh, there it is. That's a classic. I missed the bomb spot on the wall there.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Like, there's other stuff I struggled with. I was kind of nervous thinking about this one because, I guess it's more on the combat side. It's got pretty tough combat sections, don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. This is
we'll get to it, but
big time. This dungeon is pretty unique to me because it feels a lot like different types of dungeons all kind of mixed into one for me.
Yeah, it's got a little helping of a couple different types of dungeons. Mm-hmm. We gotta get to that basement. This is we were talking about in previous dungeons, this idea of like being little and falling through the floor. So if like you didn't get that bonus stuff in the previous dungeon, now you're really
Yeah,
you know.
that's like a repeat of like one of those little additional puzzles in Fortress of Winds.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Let's get big.
I love that. That's so cool.
That is a nice little puzzle. Okay, now we can I like this too, like it's kind of reminiscent of obviously Hyrule Castle.
Past.
Link to
Kind
the
of feels like
Past.
a Link to the Past to me, yeah.
Yeah, they've upended the table though. It's a little in reverse,
Yeah.
you know. Hey man, I need a key. You've grown quite brave. Thank you. Oh yeah. He even changed the color of the whole castle, man. You gotta get your painters back in here.
Come on, Daltus.
Daltus. That's a good king name.
Yeah.
Rescue my Zelda. Yeah, here we go. I like getting the key from someone.
Take this small key to the basement.
See, that's,
you know,
is this all...
you know, that's what the king would do. He would have the key to the basement of the castle.
But, like, that's it? Because you get keys later. He's like, you know, those ones, I don't know. I put them in a chest somewhere.
Yeah. My groundskeeper has those ones, but I have the basement key.
Yeah, I like this, how they have, like, all these fake key doors that kind of psych you out.
Tricky.
This
is
tricky.
This is actually something that we're gonna see a bunch. This dungeon in particular has a buttload of splitting with the 4 sword puzzles. Like a lot where you gotta split into 4 and then like either dodge obstacles or hit switches or ricochet bowling balls coming at you.
The other reason I was kind of like, when I was thinking about playing this one back is I mean, it is fairly challenging from combat, but I think it can be, you know, it's not that complicated, but I think you can still just get a little turned around in it.
Yeah, you can definitely get turned around in this dungeon, especially once we get to the like the big section where it's all kind of like, you know, no holds barred. You just gotta go in a bunch of different directions.
Here, we can take a look at the map. Look at that. It looks like a bomb.
That's neat.
This looks like, oh, see, you look at that and you're
there.
like, wait a minute.
Once you get to the second floor, it's like,
oh man,
very cool. Like the way some of the rooms connect to each other too, which we'll see. We'll see. And now we're back in the foyer.
Oh, it's very nice. Yeah, let's try to go right up the front. You can actually go out the front, which I think is kind of fun. We can just leave the dungeon now. Which, you know,
in case you want to go and get some more supplies, I think that's really neat.
I mean, you might actually need to in some situations.
Yeah. Really cool segmenting of the dungeon there, I think.
If you got the boomerang, it's very helpful. I highly recommend. Oh,
actually, I did get the boomerang.
Huh. Oh, I love this one. Who doesn't? All right, so I already got it set up, but
yeah.
Oh, I think this is one. I think if yeah, I was just expecting.
I was waiting for it to happen. This dungeon.
I don't know.
This dungeon in particular was probably one of the most egregious where Eslo has been. Like, it's the last dungeon. I don't need you popping up right at the puzzle to tell me how to do the puzzle.
Exactly, especially since it's the last dungeon. It's like, seriously, I don't think that was necessary.
That was very extra.
I really don't want to get captured.
Eslo just trying to be a helpful guy, I guess.
Yeah, you know, it's a weird thing. You don't want to be mad at him for trying to help, but it's like, hey man, ooh. It's like, this is a video game.
I'm a sucker for a good hit all the tiles walking puzzle.
Yeah.
I love these.
What is this? Oracle of... Which game had more of those? I don't even remember.
Probably... Oh, I don't know. Probably Ages.
That's kind of a
seems
basic
like an
one.
Ages puzzle. That's
kind of
just
a basic one.
That's just how my brain works. I see those and I'm already crafting out like, all right, I go this way, then this way.
I love those. I don't know. I guess I don't need it to be more complex than that.
There's
or
one
else
more.
we get.
There's one more bigger one in here, I think.
I might get tripped up, but you know, it's like me and the block pushing, like maybe I don't want it to be,
and the pot pushing.
Pot pushing. I think for me the most appropriate the most appropriate version of that is Twilight Princess. We'll get to it, but you know the
ice block.
Yeah, that one, like, it's nice. It's like a very simple kind of one, but it gets your brain going. I kind of like that one.
I like that one too.
This is another one. This one might.
This is
we need
a little tricky. Well, that's kind of what's cool. A lot of splitting puzzles so far in the game have kind of just been not even so much a puzzle. It's just like, hey, there's a few switches that you need to hit, and this is that. But this kind of reminds me of
Key.
This kind of reminds me of one of the puzzles from Palace of Winds, the one where like you have to split and then you get on the platform and it brings you really quick to the other side and you got to go around. It's like, it's not so much about the puzzle that's hard, it's like the execution is actually kind of tricky because you got to worry about like your positioning and timing and stuff.
You kind of know what you need to do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gone down the middle. I wonder, this will be, what's kind of fun about this one is that it's got a dungeon quality I like, in that even though I've beaten it, it's like it doesn't fully stick in my mind, like what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I actually like that about a dungeon. I like that it's like
you're re-exploring it every time almost.
Yeah, it's almost like a little. It's not super complex compared to some other ones, but it's complicated enough that it's like I can't just like easily like, and maybe it comes with amount of times played, because I haven't played this game as much, but even like Link's Awakening is a game that I've played a lot, and a lot of the dungeons I know fairly well, but I could still get a little tripped up compared to like Ocarina of Time. Like I could probably almost, I don't know if I could ever get lost in that game again. In my whole life.
That's fair.
maybe some things. I think, you know, I can miss a key in the old water temple, you know. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of like that puzzle, this dungeon, where it's like you know what you have to do, and it's not necessarily super complex what you have to do, but like it's actually doing it that takes a little bit more effort, which I kind of feel like makes you, I don't know, it makes it feel longer than it is, or it makes it feel more complex than it really is.
Ow, crap. Yeah. Oh, sorry. This one I'm laser focused trying to do this.
Yeah, this is the funky one too, though. Funky timing.
Oh, oof. Yeah. See, it's all. My problem with this one is I always go too late.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's like you gotta really know the animation.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've got 2 fails so far. So let's see what we can get to. Okay, that was better.
Yeah, this is the left too.
This is one of those ones where, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I can get it pretty quickly, but it's see that. Okay,
they're too quick for you.
How many was that? We're at 4.
4, yeah.
Okay. This might become a supercut.
Yeah.
I think the Minish Cap is the. Well, I guess it's hard to say because
I got the right to that time.
The other games, I'm sure, with like, especially like the Oracle games, if I had filmed parts of that, there would be fail comps. But this might be the biggest fail comp of all. Oh,
there you go. That was cool. You kind of like ricocheted off the left ones.
They were across the border there.
That's pretty neat.
Oh shoot!
You know these Keatons.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. They're no, my money. I desperately need that.
Little thieves.
Yeah, what is with these guys? What is with them?
I like them a lot. These guys should come back, actually, for sure. They're super cool. Because they're called Keatons, which kind of ties them into like the Keaton from Majora's Mask. But they're like little fox thieves.
feel like there's something you're supposed to blow up something in this room. Is there an actual hint for that? Is this an obscure bomb puzzle?
I don't know. That's it.
I'm like,
got it.
But
no. So I actually just only noticed it this time. When you come in from the other side, you can see. This is a classic, see it from one side puzzle. But or you could use the actual. What I did is I was like, I have a feeling that I need to bomb somewhere. So I did the thing where you charge your sword and you bonk it against the wall until it makes a different sound. And then I used that and I was like, oh, I got a bomb there.
Okay,
which is super cool.
We got ambushed, and you know, in my previous, maybe I'll stick with the safe strat, but in the rooms with two guys, we got him bumping against the wall.
You got him trapped.
Dang, did you see that? That was some expert.
That was
sword
clean.
play. And look at that.
Look at that.
I don't know.
That's like a little Link to the Past nod too.
That room scared me. Let's not go there yet. I feel like this is more. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have to go.
You gotta get the compass.
Man, okay. I'm like reevaluate. I don't think I can change it now, but because of all the math. But I'm like, dang, maybe I might need to bump this up a spot.
It's pretty great.
There's some good. I love. That's like, again, to what I was saying about like Ocarina of Time, is sometimes they're like, that was like one of the first games where, I mean, it's an excellent game. It's a phenomenal game, unbelievable game. But it was one of the first ones, dungeon-wise, where it's like a great portion of them. It's like, do I really need the map and compass at all?
Yeah.
And that puzzle, that wall bombing puzzle, I would have gotten.
It's great.
It's one that, like, if I hadn't remembered that bomb spot, me doing this live,
like, what the heck?
I would have been screwed doing this live, because like I have a much harder time of like focusing on puzzles, like like as we've seen with like the block pushing, you know. And I think I would have gotten stumped there, but I you know, when I'm playing more casually, that's one of those ones where I love those where you have to, like, you can't just be trying to plow through. You have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And you have to explore the rooms, and when you're in that room and you see the bombable wall, you've got to look at your map and say, and like go, okay, how do I get to that room?
Yeah.
And you got to track your progress and get to that room.
Well, it's like you could look at the map and just be like, oh, I clearly have to get through here somehow, and just kind of stumble upon it. Or you could, if you're very attentive, like when you come in on the other side, you could be like, oh, there's a bombable wall, but you wouldn't connect. Like you would need to have really good spatial awareness to be like, oh, I'm back in that room, or I'm next to that room, so I gotta bomb this wall. But the way I came upon it is I was like, wait, could there be a bombable wall here? And I just immediately went to that mechanic that is so underused that they should implement better. I
agree.
Making different sounds off of the wall. Because I just did that on a whim, and it actually worked, and I was like, no way.
And especially, oh crap, when you think about
also, I don't want to gloss over it, but that going outside is always cool in a dungeon.
That actually, it feels very, I mean, we had it in the last dungeon, but I feel like they kind of try to bring that back in A Link Between Worlds, where you're like, climbing up. I guess Wind Waker had those too, you know, where you...
Yeah, Wind Waker had it.
I did it again. If you get hit by fire in this game, it's the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
It can, like, honestly, like, completely kill me sometimes, and, like, ruin whatever I'm trying to do. Is this gonna...
Fire is brutal in this game.
Speaking of... yeah, like I said, this is what I'm, like, the most nervous about, because it's, like... even compared to the rest of the game, it's, like, legitimately pretty tough.
Yeah, there are some gauntlet elements in this dungeon. Just in terms of, like... That's why it's got a whole mix of kind of what this game has to offer. to me in terms of gameplay. It's not like, some other final dungeons will do the thing where it's like it tests everything that you've learned, and like I would say this dungeon has a little bit more of its own standalone dungeon feel. Like, it doesn't feel like it's playing the greatest hits, but it is recycling a lot of gameplay elements from the dungeons. Like, this stuff you're doing right now is very Palace of Winds. The stuff where you're dodging, fire bars and hazards and stuff is very Cave of Flames. There's a lot of
yeah, definitely.
There's a good amount of like jumping up on grates and stuff, and I don't know, cool things going on in this dungeon, I think.
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess we can talk. I kind of want to show that on the rankings, but I think it got me thinking about other final dungeons and how it compares to those. It wasn't the only
for sure
sort of thing I was weighing it against, but that definitely was a thought.
We'll tease here. We'll get to it when we get to the ranking, but like one of the dungeons that popped into my head a few times when I was playing this that it kind of reminded me of was Ganon's Tower from A Link to the Past. Just in the way that like
big time.
It feels, for some reason for me, this dungeon feels very much like its own standalone dungeon. Like, it has its own unique, like, anti-Hyrule Castle identity, but the kind of the layout and the structure reminds me almost of like that bottom floor of Ganon's Castle, Ganon's Tower, where it's just like a big sprawling heap of like enemies and puzzles, and you just got to get to a few spots, but it's like a big old mess,
Yeah, and it has like a similar thing too of like, it has that in a couple ways, and it also has, what am I doing? I think I'm on Boomerang. Like, it has this sort of thing where like each floor or like each it's like almost sectionalized in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
There's definitely overlap, but I like that it's like, okay, there was sort of that. There's the basement. It's sort of almost like a mini section where you got to rescue the king.
And the basement is awesome, like story setup for the dungeon almost.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it ties into like, you could sort of not realize you're entering the dungeon. You know what I mean? As we discussed.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, what's the strat for these guys? Oh
I don't
boy.
know. I watched someone do it, and they like jumped over and got them both in the right position where they could slash both of them at the same time. But that's a little crazy.
Oh my gosh! Throw your dang thing. Okay, that's a hit.
Got one.
We're gonna do a little bit of safety strats here. Come on.
These guys are dangerous in this game.
I love the like, you have to like get them to want to throw it at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that where it's
you
like,
actually have to bait them.
It's a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
That's
Okay.
usually what I do with Dark Nuts too. I usually just wait for them to slash and then just like barely dodge and get them right next to their shield.
Hey, I want that rupee. No, I don't. I don't care actually about the rupee. Does this work on them? Probably not. Okay. Throw your thing. Throw it. Come on.
They're
now.
so scary too. When you get close, they spin it faster.
Yeah, that's like, you have to wait for the actual animation where they're like, gonna. Hey guys, let's take a moment to appreciate the sprite. That was sick.
Nice.
All right, I'll take this money. Now here's a strat for this dungeon. It's called a little backtrack, where if you're ever like, whew, that was tough, and you get a portal, you're gonna always want to go back and go to that room with the fairies.
Yeah,
that's what I always do.
The recharge room.
Or actually, there might even be one right outside, isn't there? Well, nonetheless, I always find this one. I've especially found like this dungeon gets tough, and it's like it's almost necessary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
I've done it before where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna press on, and
It's hard.
It's never gone good.
Especially towards the end, towards the later stretch. It's like this is a gauntlet, you know?
Yeah, so it even, I think, combines that gauntlet element of some of the castle dungeons, but where it's not like, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like room to room to room, you know, but it feels that. Well, we'll see why it feels that way soon.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
might even be a little
like
overkill. We'll see.
I think it's good. That's an element of it that reminds me of Ganon's Tower, where it's like, even if a room,
it's better.
Like you walk into a room and it just happens to be on your path, and even if there's not a crazy puzzle in there, it's just like maybe they throw in like 3 Wizrobes and a Stalfos or something, and it's like there is never.
Oh wait,
you don't get a second to breathe in this dungeon, which I think is cool.
Definitely. Oh. Here we go. A little bit more of this contraption we all love.
Wait, did you just use bomb arrows on that?
No, I used the gust jar.
That is so much smarter than I like put down a bomb and picked it up and had to time it so that it exploded in the air. That is so much harder.
Yeah, I'm a genius. What can I say?
That makes sense. It makes too much sense.
I think one thing.
Oh, you got these guys too if you need fairies.
Oh yeah, you gotta get the boomerang. Let's do it just because it's satisfying.
Oh yeah.
But even the fairies, they don't heal you like it's more a Link to the Past style. And I like that. I like, you know, oh, you're gonna want a potion. You know what I mean?
Got a black dark nut.
Yeah, let's see.
This guy has a new move.
Oh yeah, and that's
yeah, that guy right there. That does a lot of damage.
We're gonna hope that those anti-fairies are there still. Are those bubbles? I don't remember. Oh
yeah,
shit.
I don't remember.
You don't want to run into the sword. Yeah, these guys hit hard is the thing.
Yeah, they do.
And like, I think if you can, it's this strat is like, I think really not as viable when there's 2 of them. It's hard to like.
Yeah, it's way harder.
What's that?
It's way harder. It's way harder to try and like carefully maneuver around them when there's one standing right next to it.
I go a little bit more, and sometimes it doesn't pay off, but I go a little bit more sicko mode when fighting 2 on 2.
Go sicko mode on those dark nuts.
Not in the like I'm like oh crud. I'm like killing them very strategically. It's like literally I'm like just running in circles.
Yeah.
I see the strat where people are like do the like jump over a move, and there's something about it I don't like. It doesn't feel right.
I did that a little bit more this time just because I had never really done that, but it's kind of fun. But I'm definitely I don't really even use the shield. I try and make it more of like a dodge thing.
Now look at this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But like I said,
6.
It's an easy dungeon to backtrack through, and the fairies are easy to acquire. Now here we go. We've got a
This is so cool.
This is a divine beast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This
is very much like that.
Eagle's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna rank the pre-divine beast.
The pre-divine beast divine beasts.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the fairies back. I'm such a sucker for that though. Like the thing. I mean, it's a little different, I guess, in the divine beasts and stuff.
Oh shoot.
But it's the same thing in what's it called? The Ancient Tomb, right? In Oracle of Ages, the one where you have to get the tablets.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has some of that. That's a fantastic dungeon.
I love a little central thing, and it's like, hey, you got to go elsewhere and get all the little pieces and come back.
See my sicko mode here?
Yeah, you're going
Oh,
wild.
shoot.
You're going
Oh,
straight sicko right now.
I actually haven't gotten... Well, I got hit, but... Oh my goodness. Okay, we're down to one. We're down to one. Safety strats. Oh, man. I almost got killed by these guys the last time I played. That was like a big...
Yeah. No, this game in general hasn't been too hard for me this playthrough, and like this dungeon, I was definitely like...
Oh, shoot.
I don't know, coming down towards my last hearts a couple times.
Yeah, this is a...
No, but this, like, even that aspect of, like, you're walking through this generally open floor and there's a bunch of big doors that are blocked and you're like, oh, I guess I can't go in there yet. And then all the dark nuts appear and it's like you gotta beat them to open the doors. That's really cool. I'm a sucker for that.
That's not really hurting them, is it? The boomerang. I guess would a boomerang hurt a ghost?
Of course not.
Oh! I love that when they all disappear.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It's satisfying.
Ooh. Yeah, I like the open floor plan.
It's
open
neat because
castle
it's like,
concept.
especially I was looking at the map, and when you look at it, it's like that whole second floor. Literally, all you just have to do is go to the four corners, and each of the corners has enemies and puzzles along the way, and it leads to a small key. And it's like very simple, not super hard to get lost, but I don't know. That's that simplicity mixed with like kind of like a big sprawling mess to actually get from point A to point B. I dig that.
Oh yeah. You know, one thing oh no. One thing this gets me thinking with these enemies is one thing that I really like about Ganon's tower in A Link to the Past. Oh no. Is I feel like it's got a similar thing here. This is just like here, we're gonna fight all the knights, but I like in that one you like revisit some of those early bosses. And I guess this game doesn't. We've already revisited one of the bosses as a mini boss, so I don't know. I guess it might not have worked as well here, but I found that even more like thrilling of a kind of a combat set piece. You know, that would have maybe been kind of cool here.
You fight the old bosses and they ups the challenge level a little bit.
Yeah. Oh.
That's always a nice. Well, not always. Sometimes it's not as well done. But like
Wizrobe.
Ugh. I wasn't even talking about Wizrobe. Now you got Wizrobe in my head.
Whoops. Well, this
That guy
works.
sucks.
Sometimes you can make this work.
You could probably like sneak through if you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That didn't seem like it should work, but
You can do if you're quick. You can do some really sneaky things, clipping those little clone guys through stuff.
oh, here's a room. Honestly, you don't want to get hit by fire and go running into the pit.
Though this doesn't have returning bosses in it, I think it's still. I don't know. I think it still does a really good job because like you don't fight nearly this many Dark Nuts at anywhere else in the game, and then you got the ball and chain soldiers. You got I don't know a bunch of different kinds of Wizrobes. You got these dark areas that have Gibdos. Like I think it does a good job of maintaining its own identity. Like this is like the Dark Nut dungeon, pretty much.
Yeah, they're the knights, you know.
Yeah.
Thematically, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just a room you fall into. Well, how about that?
Yeah.
It's a punishment pit. So we got the key. Actually, like the dungeon, it kind of has a logical kind of path you can follow if you follow the big, you know, like the big doors and either big door or a door you haven't gone through. It'll kind of, you know, guide you around. It's got this thing too of like, here's the boss door right there. We always love that, don't we?
Yeah, always like the boss door right in front of you.
Oh boy. Sicko mode.
I remember playing through this. Didn't happen this time, but I remember playing through this some other time previously and just like not looking at my map and not having a full sense of where on the floor I am, but just knowing that there's Dark Nuts lurking in a room.
Yeah.
And then I pull up and it just locks in on me and I'm like, oh no.
And like, when you're getting hurt, it's especially bad. Because you're like, if I go through the wrong door, it's curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky. All right. Corey, these battles have gone way better than I could ever hope
you're
for.
cruising.
Oh!
Yeah, I love this.
A little heart reward. Okay, let's do this. These don't get too bad. They're sort of a. Well, I'm gonna say this and mess it up, but there's kind of a general.
Oh,
I think I just did.
You done goofed.
I did. That's okay. There's sort
I
of
messed
a.
this one up my first time too, I think, but I think it's because I misstepped.
There we go. I think this is right. There's sort of a general
interesting path.
You know, even if you're not the best at those, there's at least sort of a more general rule you can follow to pass those more effectively than, like, for me, the block pushing puzzles, in my mind, are a little bit harder to conceptualize. Maybe it's because, like, I'm only moving myself on one plane, you know
fair.
what I mean? As opposed to, like, managing these multiple moving things.
That's fair. Sometimes with blocks, it's weird. Blocks and pots, it's weird too, because you don't know if it's like a thing where you can push it multiple times, or if it's just like you push it once and then it doesn't move again.
Oh, true. Oh, okay. It's a nice room. I feel like this room just exists to be symmetrical, but okay.
Well, restock room.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I got all those upgrades, like the remote bombs and these powers, but I don't know if I really use them.
I don't use the remote bombs. Did you get the light arrows?
No, I don't think so.
You actually have to do something like earlier in the game to get them, and then you get them later. Yeah.
How do you get the light arrows?
When you know the first time when you unlock that warp panel that brings you to the sky people?
Yeah.
Like when you can go up there and you can talk to some of them. There's a Greggle and the ghost. Greggle's sick in bed, and you can use the gust jar to suck up the ghost. And he's like, oh thank you so much. I'm feeling so much better now. And when you show up later on, he's like, hey, I'm feeling great now. I got this gift for you. And he gives you the light arrows.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, see, no,
it's also kind of sad, because, like, if you don't do that, he dies.
What?
If you don't get rid of the ghost, he's not there when you come back.
Well, look, Link cannot be blamed for that.
No, it wasn't his fault.
Oh, shoot. These Stalfos are quite the remote bombs. Those are cool in concept, but
I never use them.
I just don't use them. Those would be fun. They should have done multiplayer on this game. Can you imagine, like, hitting your homie with the remote bomb?
Yeah.
Like GoldenEye? Okay.
Yeah. Like laying a landmine.
Oh, jeez. Get out of my face.
It's a huge fire bar. That takes up the entire room.
Yeah, what is this? Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Guru bar? Okay. Is this just shoot the...
Yeah, you just gotta shoot him and not get hit by the fire.
Oh no. Ugh.
You almost got hit.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it. Yeah, I do like, okay, there we go. I'm gonna fall.
Gotta jump down.
Oh, you gotta fall. Oh no. I like to stun these guys because I'm just really afraid of getting hugged by them. Oh no.
I have a very different approach with Gibdos. I just get the lantern out and go straight at them.
I love the burning them mechanic is really cool.
That's what I do. I burn them and then I slash them with Stalfos, and they're much easier.
I'm very much like, I gotta keep my distance, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, what's out there? Something good?
just some hearts.
Okay. Yeah, no, I see. My last playthrough was the opposite of this. I was just like starving for hearts, and when I'd get the shortcuts, it was like, oh, thank goodness. All right, we got all the keys.
Got all 4 keys.
But look, there's still plenty of challenging things, I think.
Yeah, no, the final stretch of this dungeon is
oh my gosh,
very challenging.
Yeah, we'll see. This might be a fail comp. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Maybe make a suspend point.
Should we, or I feel like
it's up to you. I don't really care either way.
Well, yeah. What's the pup think? I can always Wait, I'm going the total wrong way. We got to get to where I was heading to the boss door. What was I thinking? Oh, like I can always cut it for video purpose,
yeah,
if need be. But I feel like I don't want to betray the dungeon, if that makes sense.
That's fair. That is a big part of this, especially this final section here. I remember as a kid playing through it and failing and you have to go through the whole thing over again.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's
very
tough.
challenging.
I mean, yeah, you have to go through the final. Actually, so in the early years of the Zelda Dungeon Marathon, there were some years where the game went unbeaten because the person who was supposed to play it just died, and then over and over, and then other people were passing the controller trying to do it, and this is actually probably one of the hardest final sections of a game.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Some of it's a little bit it's because you have to redo it and not mess. I mean, I don't know. I think
Capcom are just a bunch of sadists. Because it's always the Capcom games, like Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages. This one,
yeah, this one has a little bit more of it's got more of that Wind Waker on they're sort of lightening the difficulty a little bit, and they've got some of those things to kind of guide you along. But then out of nowhere, there are parts where it's like we've talked about those bomb puzzles where it's oh, that's more tricky than I expected from the game. It does surprise you sometimes. Quickly, okay, so is this actually timed?
I was just gonna ask you that. I have no clue. I want to say it is.
I say don't fight that guy.
That's fair. Well, it definitely automatically does a chime every time you get to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe.
But I have
can I?
Slash these guys. Look at all these little foxes.
Oh.
With their little daggers.
Yeah, there we go. Let's just kill them. Oh. You don't want to be taking damage here.
No. Yeah, you gotta conserve as many hearts as possible here. You
want to conserve. Yeah, you think it's oh, this is just this is just Zelda. You slash some guys and it'll be all right. But no, you can't be too risky. One more chime. Okay, maybe we're...
And then you get into a room and you think you're done with dark nuts, and then they throw 3 dark nuts at you.
That's when you initiate, final sicko mode.
Yeah, ultimate sicko mode.
This is bad. Oh, no. This might not work.
This is great. They should do this more often. Just take a really hard enemy and throw a bunch of them at you. That's when the true players come out.
I mean, this does happen. I mean, spoilers. It happens again in Twilight Princess a little bit, but it's not quite as tricky. But it's still. Honestly, if you don't.
Yeah, there are little tricks you can do to make it a lot easier in those games.
Okay, come on, guys. You gotta attack. What I found is if I was rolling, they would get mad and attack, but I'm having a hard time getting them to.
These ones have an incredible resolve.
Yeah, they're hold. Yes. Oh, I should have taken my shot there. Okay, come on, guys.
This is so intense.
Yeah, no, you're watching a master at work here. Okay, come on.
I gotta say, there's definitely no denying this is one of the harder final stretches in a Zelda game. Definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, I had no trouble with it. I did very well on this one. Normally, like, by the time I get to, like, some of the phases of the boss, I'm, like, really struggling. Like, very low on hearts, and I was pretty okay this time. We got some
Sorry,
hearts for you.
I'm in total concentration.
It's understandable. You got
I
you
cannot
got 3 dark
get
nuts
them.
staring at you. Oh, get them.
Yeah, okay. I feel like okay. Oh, jeez.
They're onto your rolling games. They don't
They
like
know my
that.
strats.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
You were rolling around the other dark nuts, and they communicated with them, and they were like, "Hey,
They're
this
like-
guy, this guy likes to
Hey.
roll."
This guy's rolling over.
Yeah.
They're walkie-talkies, you know.
Yeah, they're like, "Watch out for this rolling guy. He's coming up." Over.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a way better strat for this. Like I said, the jumping thing always looks like it could be fruitful, but the thing is, I always like mess it up. All right, come on. Hit me, hit me, hit me. Yeah, I feel like they do it. You know, we haven't taken too much damage, so I'm worried about the potential time limit, though.
You're going so fast they can't even catch up.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
there you go.
Down to 2.
Gave you a nice little
Get a
kinstone.
kinstone. Yeah, just
What
a little
what
reprieve
time.
from battle. Whew, okay. Come on, guys. Come on, you know. Yeah.
Got him.
What? Oh, there is a time
you
limit.
Lost.
Oh!
The bell is rung for a 3rd time. Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Zelda's stone forever, Goo. Come on. That's what you get for rolling.
Takes so many hits.
This
Come
is
on!
tense. This
Swing
is
at me! Are you serious?
He's got a lot of health. Get him. Oh.
Come on, come on, come on! It's like, just attack me!
This guy is really testing your patience.
You have to, like, goad them into attacking you,
Yeah.
but if you're too close, it bounces.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh. It's got to be like one more.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay, wait, we gotta get up there, though. The chimes.
Yeah. Yep.
The chimes, the
All
chimes.
right, got it.
But now I don't have any health.
Oh no. You have fairies though. You have fairies, right?
I do, but like I said, they don't
Yeah,
give
they
you
don't do a
lot.
whole lot.
Whew. My palms are sweaty.
Palm sweaty, mom spaghetti.
Yeah, we got a mom spaghetti situation on our
We
hands.
got a mom spaghetti on our
Whew.
hands. Drops you right back
Oh my
down into
gosh.
the same room. This is a great boss fight in my opinion.
I was about to say that though. Sorry, I'm just like zooming through the text, but you know, he's talking some crap.
The
He doesn't
adrenaline's
say
high.
on guard.
No.
Okay.
We need more on guard in Zelda.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I'm like I gotta remember the.
Dude's got fire.
Yeah, I don't remember the his movements. Oh, this I know this. That's good.
Man, that Gus Jar really putting in work this game.
Yeah, it's
You use
really
it
good.
all the time.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
Let's get some. Okay. I guess those are good. Ooh, okay. Okay.
This is almost like a Patra callback.
He's Patra vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Patra vibe.
That's good. We love Patra. I like one of those with a fairy. That's nice. Ooh. That was a good, like,
Yeah.
hit.
It's great when you
Sometimes
get
you
a bunch
get-
in a row. Got him.
Oh. Oh.
He's a trickster
Yeah.
with the There you go.
Okay.
Teleporting.
How many phases? Oh shoot. Yeah, I don't know how many phases he goes. I know there's like that eventually starts like moving, doesn't it? Like when they're shooting the lasers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's this. Like it's actually like quite involved, I feel like, this
Yep.
whole.
There's multiple phases too. Yeah, that's
Oh shoot. You don't want to get caught doing that.
A lot going on.
And like the oh jeez, if you get hit by fire, it lasts so long. Oh yeah,
there you
okay,
go.
we're
He's
moving.
Oh, get him.
Is that okay? There must be another. Oh jeez. Okay.
It's got almost like a Loki headdress thing going on there.
Mm-hmm. So it's
This
what a
design-
dark wizard would wear, right?
Yeah,
That's kind
yeah.
of Loki vibe. Oh shoot.
This design is really cool.
Yeah. Oh, gotta give it props. Okay. Eyes cleared. Okay, stop doing that. Yes.
Got him.
Okay.
Phase 1 done.
But the next phase. Is this harder? Actually, I don't know.
I think the second phase is the hardest.
Grrr.
Well, it's just like it's so like specific, and he gets moving so fast that like it's really tough to get yourself in the right spot.
For this one with
Yeah.
the arrows.
Especially once like he starts knocking those purple spiny things are all over the ground. Like you just can't
true.
move.
Sometimes they drop health, right?
Yeah.
It also just kind of takes a while to charge this.
Yeah. Oh, I actually got the there's a quick charge upgrade.
I thought I had that.
Oh,
Maybe not. I thought I got all of them. Heck if I know.
Did you
Okay,
get
where's
did you get the great spin or the hurricane spin or whatever it's called in this game?
I'm pretty sure I did. Now this is a pain when he's like facing the total wrong
Yeah.
side. Move over there. Do I have to like
Get
coax
out of
him?
the way, fella.
Yeah. Move aside for your doom.
I think he does go. Yeah.
You know what? I feel
Yeah,
like
there you go.
I could be wrong, but maybe George is harder. Sky George?
Sky George, you think so?
I don't know. The
I think Vati's harder. Sky George isn't
maybe-
as too tough for me.
Oh shoot. Oh, I didn't take damage there. Corey.
You got
Oh
this.
no.
You got this. You can shoot him when he's doing that, I think.
I know, I just I was scared. Ow. It's okay, I got fairies, keep that in mind.
Classic giant eyeball boss.
Yeah, here's what you're talking about. Just trying to line it up.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it's like, and sometimes I get it like that where I'm like, oh, he's in the perfect spot, but then he starts
Yeah.
moving. Oh no.
This is the
That's his little.
this is the first time chronologically in the timeline that we see big ol' eyeball Vati.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Big eyeball cloud Vati.
Oh no, not on the thing. Okay. Just stop moving. Stop moving.
Stop moving. This is what like
Oh no.
when you've already shot the eyeballs and he's moving fast and you got to get your doppelgangers in the right position, like that's what's tough for me.
It is tricky.
It's hard
Okay,
to
move
catch
up,
him
Move up.
because you gotta
Yeah, like there. It's like you gotta.
you gotta
He's gotta
like,
move up.
Yeah. He's gotta move up.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, get
Okay,
him.
okay.
Get him.
Oh, I got a heart there. No.
Oh, what? How did that happen?
That was it. Come on. Come
Yeah,
on,
I thought
Vati.
you had it.
Oh no. Wait, this might work.
You could make it work.
Oh no, it's not gonna work.
The eyeballs are gonna close.
Is that what happens?
I think so. I think after long enough, they go back to purple.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One more.
Oh shoot. Oh, this is
Oh
bad.
man. Oh man.
Heart? No. So it's like not worth it to honestly to look for hearts.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to find love on the battlefield.
Not on this battlefield.
Oh, there's hearts.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he's hurt.
Yeah.
Oh. What?
What? What is this madness?
But there's more. Corey, there's more.
Is there? He said he lost. He blew up.
Oh, Vadi's dead.
He blew up. How could there be more?
Oh, no, everything's fine. You did it. Impressive. Thank you.
This shout out.
Let me get hearts.
Shout out this.
Can I go back?
Why is it locked?
Oh.
Oh, that scared me. I thought I was gonna do something.
Like, oh, I guess you gave up. I would have rewound.
Game over.
All right, no, it's fine. Let's get Zelda back to normal.
Shout out. I think I can't really tell. I can't really hear. I think this is when it's playing the Zelda Awakened song, which is a throwback to Zelda 2. It's a remix of the same song in Zelda 2 when Zelda wakes up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sick.
I don't think I noticed that.
It's like do 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 do.
It's we gotta get out of here. Can I? Oh no, this is good though because we can get some hearts. Yes, the sanctuary. We can.
Good call. Good call.
We can. This is great.
This is classic Ocarina of Time here. The castle's falling apart. You gotta escape. Wait. Also, though, like, what's the logic here? The castle's crumbling, so let's go to the basement. Like what?
Well,
what is the sanctuary gonna do? They can't get out through the sanctuary, right?
Well, maybe it's like it's the only place you're not gonna get crushed.
Yeah.
You know, while we're escaping, let's stop and restock here a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Here's a hint for anyone watching. You want to remember this room.
That's a great room. Nothing like a good restock room.
All right. We're good.
Uh-oh.
I didn't use a fairy, right?
I don't think so.
True power of the light force. Okay, man. My palms, they're sweaty now.
They're real sweaty.
Okay,
cool.
but you don't want to get too. You don't want to get too cocky still, though. That's the thing to keep in mind.
This can be challenging. I don't think this is as hard as that phase, in my opinion, but it can still be tough.
Oh yeah, you gotta. It's kind of a very involved.
This is actually really cool because, like, going into the arm, fighting the thing, this is very much like a Mazal. But, like, through this all of these phases of the final boss, you've had to use the Gust Jar, you've had to use the bow, you've had to use the Cane of Pachi.
This is one where it benefits you. Oh, you can leave, but I like... oh, it doesn't do the thing where it kicks you out. Okay. Okay, let me... out of here. I wish I could pick up that card.
Here.
Yeah, we just gotta get rid of... oh, dang, I don't want that yet. Okay. Yeah, Pachium. Corey, I'm so nervous.
You got it.
This is the most nervous I've ever been in Dungeon Dive history.
You have all hearts except for 1/4 of a heart. You're fine.
You gotta get the right eyeball, the one that's not the same.
The crazy one. You gotta get the crazy one.
Where'd it go? There it is. Alright, we'll just leave. We'll leave.
Very spooky design inside of that arm.
Yeah, what's going on with you when your arm looks like that?
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. Fati's cool. Fati should come back.
Oh, big time.
I feel like everyone said that, but, like, bring him back. Why haven't
Is it too late? It's not too late.
Of course not.
This is not the best strat. Oh, it almost worked though. Okay, we're gonna cancel. I think what you want to do, honestly, actually, I don't know. I think what you want to do is dodge this and
wait for it to go and then. But again, the timing is weird because he can shoot more before.
It's like who knows? Okay, he's shooting it.
Shoot one off.
Yes.
There you go. Slash him.
It only gets harder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or does it stay about the same? I don't. I guess does he do it more frequently?
I think he does. I think the rate goes up.
Okay. I actually feel like maybe this part's not too bad. It's just like
No. It's
easy.
hard
Oh yeah, okay,
because
he's gonna do it again. No.
It's hard because you just get caught in awkward situations, and then like if you get hit with one of those balls, all your doppelgangers are gone, and you just have to do it again.
Yeah, the timing is tricky. See, I'm like expecting a second now. Okay. No.
Oh, we did a third.
Okay. Shoot.
Oh.
All right, here we go. This is going well. I mean, relatively speaking, it's just
It's
I
frustrating.
feel like
It's frustrating.
this actually is. This is maybe shouldn't have been the. This should have been the first phase. Like I don't know.
Well, I don't know, because it's. I think the setting is really cool. The design of Vati right here is like super cool.
Yeah,
I love
true.
the little bat wings, the big. I don't know what just happened there. That definitely should have worked.
I just mean more like. Oh. Is there even a point? Maybe I should have kept it. I don't know. You never know. I just mean more like this part of the fight compared to the other one is a little less underwhelming. Or it's a little more underwhelming. Crap. Yeah, it's more just that it's like, what? That was perfect.
I don't know what happened there.
There's a little bit of I'm bad at it, but you have to be perfect.
You just gotta believe. Oh, come on, guy on the left. What are you doing? I'm thinking maybe you shouldn't like. Maybe it's because you're like spamming the slash.
One slash.
Yeah,
All right, let's try.
one slash. Oh, there you go. Oh,
All right,
yeah, that was it.
I take back everything I said.
Look at his eye. It's going wild.
Oh my goodness. What an
Oh,
explosion.
that's crazy. That is crazy. And the Minish
Okay.
Cap, the titular Minish Cap, has returned.
Well, look, we just watched me learn a lesson on camera.
Put that in the books.
You were so brave. But we've lost so much. No, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna
Sad.
be okay.
All those people. Did a bunch of people die or something? What happened?
Whoa! This is like one of the first Zelda games to get like really deep.
Yeah. Got the
Really
real-
grapple with death after Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Do we like? I like Eslo here and his
Real
all
guy Eslo?
natural.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right though. It doesn't feel like him. If he doesn't have a beak. They should
I
have
wonder
just...
if the manga gets into this.
Why he doesn't have a beak in human form.
No, like I'd love to see him being like a sassy guy in his normal form. You know?
Yeah.
Too soon to give up despair. Yay!
Zelda still possesses some of the light force. Perhaps together we can do something to make things right. This is like such an exact replica of like the other endings, except instead of the Triforce, it's a hat.
It looks good on her.
Yeah, it actually really does.
Well, this is. I don't want to like date this, but you know, there's a lot of talk right now about the ending of Tears of the Kingdom. We won't spoil it, but it's like, or like a lot of things, like how we had discourse about what Ganondorf is doing, and then like what happens at the very end with Zelda.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's the same as every other Zelda.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it's not that egregious, really, comparatively. It's a little. It's not. I don't know. I don't know. With the Zelda stories, they're not like. they're not like the greatest stories ever told, but they're nice little video game stories.
The endings
like,
of these, I feel like you need to have the mindset of like the sort of like a wizard did it syndrome thing, where it's just like, yeah, it just happens because that's what happens, you know? Usually they have the Triforce to, or a magical hat to be like, oh, we wished everything back to normal.
Yeah, if you don't like that, you don't like Zelda, I don't think. Because that's like most of the endings, you know? Yeah. They're all back to normal.
Everything
describes it.
Everything's fixed. All those people are not dead anymore.
I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. I guess I'm not one who thinks of the story. I don't think of it in the same way that some of the people who had those criticisms.
It's just more, you know? You don't need to, like, what they want to do is bring everything back, because that's the most satisfying part to me, is to see everything get fixed. That's just always really nice to watch. And if they need to just have a thing where they say, oh, this can do that, this can just do whatever you want, like, that's fine. That's more than enough explanation.
My home planet needs me. Yeah, this is literally this is the end of Twilight Princess as well, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
This is the end of every Zelda game. the magical thing fixed everything, and then the person has to leave forever.
Yeah. Oh, look
Please
at that
triangle. This.
Oh, we're seeing timeline history here.
Yeah. I love this right here. He's like, oh, there's no Eslo in it.
Here it is. There's definitive lore proof.
Yeah, that's it. Would have been funny.
Even though it's not anymore, I guess. But
would have been funny if he was just like, I've never seen you wearing a cap until now. Doesn't really fit.
Yeah, give me that back. Yeah. Oh, he goes little mode.
Farewell, my friend. Oh, so sad.
This is what should happen to Midna at the end, is she turns into a little tiny.
She turns little. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Oh, and here we are at the credits.
That's it.
So, I mean, we already kind of... We do normally sort of wrap up talking about the story, and we kind of did a little bit. Like, we didn't put as much emphasis on the story of this one this season. It's kind of more like an older dungeon dive in that sense. But I think, like we just said, I think this is it's a very nice story. It's a very charming game. I don't know, any thoughts you have kind of on the overall, just before we get into the dungeon itself, like the overall game of Minish Cap? It could be story or anything else.
I mean, like I just said before, this is, I don't know, there are a few Zelda games, probably like 3, maybe 4, where I played them before I was a definitive Zelda fanatic, like before I knew anything about the timeline, before I knew what Zelda Dungeon was, before I was paying attention to games coming out. And this was one of them, and even back then, I played the heck out of this game. So,
yeah,
a lot of it is very nostalgic for me, but I'm glad that this playthrough seemed to be exploring a little bit more with, like, doing some of the side stuff and the Kinstone fusions and stuff, because one of my favorite things about this game is just how, like, jam-packed it feels. It feels like a nice little treat-sized thing with a bunch of stuff, bunch of flavor packed into it.
Mm-hmm.
Very charming, very unique.
I did like that, and like I think it was a little like, it still felt like, I don't know, some of the side stuff wasn't as satisfying, but there is a lot of very satisfying side stuff to find. But like compared to, I guess, I don't know, I'm not a big 100% person, so the game always has kind of like been fine for me, because like if I don't get a bunch of stuff, it's not a big deal. But I don't know, there's a couple, like, just with the the Kinstones are cool, I've come to realize, and I did find myself searching out the Kinstone things more, especially when I revealed them. Maybe my familiarity with the world has grown too. But there is a certain, like, in some ways it does like put a certain layer of abstraction on certain side quests where it makes it feel like, and not that I have a problem with this with a lot of things in Zelda, but it makes it feel a little more like video gamey. Like, I give them the token. Oh, thus Gooey's quest
come to
not quite, but surely. No, exactly. This is not. No, it's far from the end of me and Zelda's adventure.
The legend will continue.
Oh, I love this.
The power of the light force echoes throughout the ages. The light force. Triforce light. Nice.
Yeah. Whew. What a game. Yeah, I think I've... Oh, should I save?
Absolutely.
I just want to see, like, there's no more... Okay, we're at the end.
No, okay. That is something that, like, that needs to be fixed, man. That is something that bothers the heck out of me, is the end of Zelda games. Like, I need something... Either give me a second quest or give me something that definitively says you did it, you beat it. Because if you go back in, it's just going to take you to your last save and it's as if nothing happened. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So, like I was saying, yeah, this, I think it's one of those ones where each time I replay it, I think I like it a little bit more. And I think there's a great level of replayability to it, and I still kind of, if you go back and are looking on like Zelda Dungeon, I kind of stand by like where I've ranked it, you know, as a game compared to the other ones, and you know the rankings can only do so much, but I feel, and I guess. I don't know. The way I had it before is it's a solid game. It's not my favorite Zelda game, but I think there's definitely a lot more to it than I gave it credit for sure. But it still doesn't exceed like my top tier games in the series. But there's nothing wrong with that.
That's fair. There's a lot going on to it, and even I just like the excitement of fusing kinstones and not knowing what it's gonna do. And there's like a weird system behind the kinstones where like they're kind of presented to you in like different waves depending on how much you've done in the story, and it is possible to like have certain ones that are then not available later on, but it's not like each one doesn't have a set reaction. It's like certain it's like they all pull from like a pool of different things that can happen pretty much.
Okay.
So it's just that excitement for me of going up to someone and seeing the little bubble and being like, ooh, I can fuse kinstones with them. I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, why don't let's transition over and rank the dungeons. What do you say?
Yeah.
That was a fun dungeon to experience live, and I thought this format for this season worked really well.
Yes.
And it got the show too. You got you got to see the I guess I want to see people see like where I come from when I'm playing the game. Obviously, like I'm not showing exact, like I was talking about certain puzzles that like I would maybe be more like take my time with than live, because I'm like packing my mind. I'm like, I don't want the video to be boring. Yeah. But overall, I think it was cool to show off just like a somewhat casual, you know, because a lot of times if you're like studying these dungeons, I guess if you're watching a Let's Play, you would see it, obviously, but I think it's fun to kind of look at these and see like someone just kind of exploring it, not doing like, I need to get this, and this, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was really fun to do.
It's fun to see someone else's natural progression, like their natural thought process when going through stuff.
And yeah, it's fun to do. The only downside, because I try to I play them beforehand, every one I play, and then with this one in particular, I rank beforehand because we do all this math where I typically try to do it how I'm feeling on the spot. And the downside is that as we were playing, I'm like, this happens every time I play a dungeon because I already played it and I'm playing it again, and I'm like, honestly, even with all with the stuff I was complaining about, I was like, oh, I feel like I like this even more than my initial ranking, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick to what I have, and then I reserve my right to revise a little bit. It's not gonna change it massively, but anyway, I just wanted to say that because this is a great dungeon. How do you rank it?
This is a very good dungeon, and I think I said this last time for Palace of Winds 2, where there are some dungeons where I just have them in the back of my head as, oh, I know I love this dungeon. This is probably one of my favorite dungeons, but if I haven't played it in a while, I kind of forget the reasoning why. And I'm like, is that just like an old opinion of mine that I don't fully stand by anymore? Am I just like resting on a decision that I made forever ago? So, especially in this playthrough, I've tried to like actually re-examine my opinions, and this for sure is one of my favorite dungeons so far, like in the series.
Yeah. Okay.
I think bringing it back to, like I was saying, something that it kept reminding me of was Ganon's Tower in A Link to the Past, which for reference I have as number 2 on my ranking of all the dungeons ever. I think the structure of that dungeon, coupled with the way that it approaches being a final dungeon, it has its own very specific structure and its own unique identity, and it brings back all the different bosses, and there's just so much cool stuff going on. It's segmented really well. A lot of that stuff I was reminded of in this dungeon, and something that I really love about this dungeon as a final dungeon, probably more so than many, I feel like it has such a unique identity. Like a lot of other dungeons just feel like, I don't know, they don't feel like their own dungeon in their own right. They feel like they're almost only trying to go for that, this is the last dungeon and it's big and scary and let's just remind you of all the things that you've gone through in the past. But similar to like maybe Turtle Rock or something from Link's Awakening, where that's a good comparison, yeah. That functions as its own dungeon, but it's also the final dungeon. And I think this does a really good job of standing on it. Like, realistically, you could have put this dungeon, if you take away all the Vati stuff, you could have had this dungeon like somewhere else in the game, and you would obviously have to completely change the whole structure. But point is, I think it stands on its own. And it also kind of reminds me of a mishmash of like gauntlet dungeons plus just like big sprawling dungeons where you have to go hit point A, B, C, and D in whatever order that you want. And it kind of reminds me of a fully fleshed out, like, you know how a lot of times Zelda games will have those like semi-half dungeons that are just meant to be build up for the final boss? Like something like the Black Tower in Oracle of Ages. Yep. This feels like if they took that concept and were like, no, let's actually make it like a full good dungeon. And that's big time. Yeah. That's what this feels like to me. So, for my ranking, basically I just started at Palace of Winds because that is the highest, and I was like, do I like this better or do I like it worse? I definitely like this one better. So immediately this dungeon is going into my top 10. And then at that point I was already having struggles because I was like, but do I like it better than Turtle Rock, which I was just comparing it to, and like Skull Woods, which I think is an awesome dungeon in its own right as well. And what I ended up doing is I ended up putting it at number 8 on my list, just above Skull Woods, but below the likes of Eagle's Tower, Tower of the Gods, Forest Temple, Great Bay Temple, Water Temple, etc. Which I think makes sense for me because those dungeons at the top I think are the upper echelon of like, I can appreciate the design of the dungeons so much. They all feel like intricate puzzle boxes, or like things that are, the structure is designed in such a unique way for the navigation or the central puzzle mechanic. And this doesn't quite breach into that territory, because I think one of the main things that brings this down a little bit for me is that it is a little bit simple, which I think it does a good job of filling in some of that in-between stuff with a bunch of enemies, and there definitely are some really cool puzzles. But especially in that Dark Nut section, that big section, it's like, kind of like what we were saying, you're never really, you know what you have to do, and you know where you have to go for the most part. It's just a matter of getting there, and it's just a matter of executing it. So it's not really a brain busting type thing. It's much more of a gameplay execution type dungeon, which I think is fun, but I'm more partial to things that make me really think. So
okay,
that's kind of why I ended up putting it below that very upper chunk. But even so, number 8, very high up on my list. This is one of the all-time greats, I think.
Well, Corey, you've made this kind of easy on me, because basically all of your logic and everything you said about the dungeon, I 100% agree with. Like every
nice.
Sentence you said, I was like, true.
Nice.
True. So one, I don't have much more to add, but I agree. I like the format and everything of the dungeon, and the theme, and the standalone nature, and all that, how it feels standalone but a final test. Totally agree. And I also, hearing your logic of how you ranked it, I also pretty much agree with. And I have a similar thought process, and actually I think I'll probably bump this up, but I'm not going to do it now because of the math.
Too much math. Takes too long.
But to be fair, the difference in quality and the range I'm looking at, it's like a range of like almost 10 dungeons, and like it's all any of them could be, like, if you out of context said which dungeon's better, like, and I just had to guess on the spot, in my opinion, it could go either way. So you know what I mean? It's a little bit hard, but I think it deserves a little bit more credit. But anyway, I had the logic of, I was thinking about final dungeons, and I think I started with, okay, it's better than Palace of Winds, so I was thinking about that. But then I was thinking about the final dungeons, and the big ones this, I think, draws comparison to, are, I feel like, is trying to be like a lot of the main, I guess, the main tentpole games that we've had in the series. Your Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, and A Link to the Past were 3 that I saw elements from all of them in. And obviously it goes way above the Wind Waker one. That's one that I don't much care for.
Not the best.
But it also goes, I thought, decently above Ganon's Castle, Ocarina of Time, and we've discussed why. But I was like, you know what? I think it's definitely below A Link to the Past, even though there are a lot of comparable things. Like, they're very comparable in a lot of ways, and there's certain things that this dungeon even does better in some aspects. But I thought for sure I would put it below that. So that kind of created my range of above Palace, below Ganon's Tower. So that was like a range between the number 20 spot and then the number 7 spot. So like I said, that range, these are all pretty close. But I was looking at it and I was like, for sure, it doesn't go into my top 10. I don't think it gets there totally. And I'm looking, number 10, Forest Temple is my number 10, and I feel like that's the gatekeeper to, like, the ones that are just my, like, goats.
Top of the top. Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like not that. And then I was looking at the Turtle Rock you mentioned, and I was comparing it to Turtle Rock in a lot of ways. And I was like, I also like Turtle Rock a little bit more. But then this range between Misery Mire, my personal, like, I just like, what do you call it? I spoil that's your dungeon baby. A little bit. That one is a little bit of a weird one, but all the other ones have these very unique standout things that when I was thinking about what I loved about them compared to this, it was like just whatever like standout thing about that dungeon like really endears itself to me compared to this. But then I'm playing it and I'm feeling to the contrary. So I feel like it's like it could easily jump around, like I said.
Yeah, somewhere around there, around that chunk of Oracle of Seasons dungeons.
Yeah, exactly. But where I left it, I just put it above Palace of Winds because I was like, you know what, I like all these games stand out, or all these dungeons stand out to me for something really big. Where I thought like this was a really good, like really well done final dungeon, but it didn't have quite the same thing for me as like Ganon's Tower. You know, I don't know. So it. Like I said, though, it's I think I could see it just jumping around. Just playing it again, it's really awesome for all the reasons said. So between this and the next season, I might change it. But I think I have it. I think I have it in a good spot for now. I have it at 20. So, but it's basically for me. I think of it as if you're thinking like 20 to 11 as the like not top tier dungeons, but the really great ones,
the high tier.
And looking below it, I said this in the Palace of Winds, are ones that I think are great, but like they're pretty sweet, but there's certain elements that are lacking, you know, for whatever reason. So I don't know, this is kind of a good measurement of the top, but I think I'm gonna boost it a little bit later, but not now.
Yeah, that's fair. No, there's too much math. But I think that's I like doing that with these lists, like, because every time we get into this, it's like you're trying to pick another orange and compare it to like 70 other apples and oranges, and like just plop it in somewhere.
Years ago.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The only thing you can really do is like start comparing one-on-one. Be like, do I like it better than this dungeon? Do I like it better than this dungeon? And sometimes it like I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes I feel like is any of this actually making sense? Like, or am I just like arbitrarily placing these based on however I'm feeling that day?
A little bit. That's true.
But looking at looking at our list as a whole and being able to be like, well, no, this chunk of like 7 I like because they are all very puzzle box heavy and really make me think, and then the chunk below that I feel this way about them. So it's like I'm able to see my thought process on this list, which I think is really cool, and it makes me feel like, no, this actually like
yeah,
I like that a lot, because sometimes I'll see a dungeon in a spot and be like, what is that doing there? That should be lower, that should be higher. And then I start thinking about it in comparison to the dungeons it's around, and I'm like, okay, well, it had this element to it that I really liked, and it's also pretty comparable to those other dungeons. So I guess that placement makes exact sense.
What's like one thing I like about it too is it gets me thinking about like Wing Dungeon more than I ever would in my life. Which I have ranked like down at 39, but when I think about it, I'm like, that's a great dungeon. Like, you know, like, so it's cool to like, I don't know, go back and like in my mind revisit some of these, you know.
You have Moonlit Grotto from Oracle of Ages as number 18. Moonlit Grotto is probably in like the top 10 dungeons I'm likely to forget. It's a great dungeon, but it's like, if you ask me to rattle off, hey, name 20 Zelda dungeons, the chances of me saying Moonlit Grotto from Oracle of Ages are slim to none.
Okay, well, I have a defense of it, but we're not going to get
No,
into
it's
that right now.
it's a great dungeon. I'm not saying anything about the quality of dungeon. That just would never pop into my head, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. So let's transition then and talk about a little bit our math. And like, it's just fun to do this. I don't I like looking at similarly at this and try to we're just making up data points and like try to see like, does this tell me anything about what I think about the game? You know,
I'm just waiting for the day when we do it one time, and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, it makes so much sense. Yes.
Well, it does a little bit. So let's talk about. So we have our long time, our average, where we average out how we ranked all the dungeons, and it's, you know, I guess we're kind of looking like per capita, how does this dungeon hold up, right? Or how does this game hold up with its dungeons, right?
Yeah.
What do we think we see here? I think we see you like really like the Minish Cap.
Yeah, Minish Cap sword. Minish Cap definitely did pretty well.
But I think what stands out to it about me, if I'm looking at your list, it's like I feel like you have other games that occupy higher spots more. I think it's more that Minish Cap for you doesn't have a lot of like lower dungeons. Yes. We'll get to that when we get to our third newest entry into the data points. But that is a big. This game was just consistent with the dungeons, I think. Like if you, I think we were talking about this a while ago, and like the Zelda cast definitely did like a Minish Cap dungeon ranking at some point in the past year or something. And I remember thinking about it and just being like, writing down my list on a piece of paper or whatever, and then seeing like Cave of Flames at the bottom and being like, how does that make sense? I love Cave of Flames. But it's just like all of the dungeons I either like or really like. Which is that's not that many. I don't know how many other games we've covered so far don't have any stinkers. You know, that's pretty rare for me so far. And I do think that is also like, this maybe relates to our next one, the power ranking, but like that could be a benefit of having less dungeons, is like if you can be consistent, there's less of a chance to mess up, I guess. That's the whole like less is more philosophy.
Yeah. It's kind of a double-edged sword though, because then if you even have one stinker, it's like it throws it off a ton.
Yeah, so. For me, if you look at my average, and it's like close, like we've got below it, I have it averaged at 34, and if you look above it, there's a bunch of 33, 32. I rounded, so I don't know what they actually are. So like there's a little bit of wiggle room there, and obviously it's gonna bump up like a little. I think it's gonna be more comparable to Wind Waker, and I think if I'm looking at both it and Wind Waker, I don't know, maybe we can just talk about all the factors, but yeah, let's talk about it. So we got the power, but I want to talk about this wisdom thing, where
wisdom. It's the Triforce, people. Courage, power, and wisdom, if you didn't know.
The wisdom is like, what's the difference from the highest ranked dungeon and the lowest rank? And I think the idea is to say what has consistency. But for me, the other two categories stand out to me more as like, when I look at that, I can kind of divine like what game has the better dungeons more easily than this, because I don't think, like, if you see our other highest ranking ones are Legend of Zelda and Adventure of Link, which I like, but just comparatively, they're not my favorite dungeons at all. So I think just the fact that it's consistent doesn't tell you the whole story.
No, I personally don't think any of these statistics tell the whole story, because like I like I look at these and I'll see a thing and be like, that doesn't sit right, and then I'll see another one and be like, yeah, I'm gonna pick and choose that part and say I like that.
Well, I do get a little bit of something out of it. So I look at all these.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I wish I could. So like all of my stats, what I see is yes, Minish Cap and Wind Waker, both very consistent, and in fact, like you see with and I think you'll see the average, like I said, of Minish Cap for me maybe go up and match Wind Waker a little bit more, which is a close number. But I'll think with those, it's like they're consistent. And they're consistently like at least good. Like there's nothing super low ranking, but I think they for me lack like the highs for one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think like for me what I see as my best ones, just looking at average and power, is I think the games that are like all around actually consistent for me are Oracle of Ages and Link's Awakening, because they're both ones that like have a good amount of high ranking dungeons, and they're like and like the ones that are good are like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily actually view there being a wide disparity from bottom to top that bad, only because we're like we talked about apples and oranges. I don't think, for example, Spirit's Grave, which I have ranked extremely low, being that low is necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like because it's the opening dungeon.
It's just a placement thing. It's a circumstantial. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just happens to not be great compared to the others. Compared
to like a later dungeon that's ranked low.
Yeah.
Like I have Shadow Temple low. It's like that to me tells me more. So I actually think like I kind of like, I don't know. I think I would say for me, Ages and Link's Awakening are like the more like consistent, solid dungeons. But even though I have Ocarina the average low and the power is in the middle, I think there's something to be said with that, and then particularly A Link to the Past, which the average is low.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about, for me, the progression of complexity and difficulty, where I like looking at this and I don't see it like grouped up. I like seeing Ganon's Tower and the Water Temple way at the top, and then I like seeing, you know, like the Dodongo's Cavern or something. Ocarina, you know, I have it like some anomalies, but you know what I mean? I kind of like that, like the epic scope of it, and I like that some of the dungeons are a little bit more small scale. But I can also
variety.
I can also be won over to the less is more thing, but I think for me the ones that actually do that are Ages and Link's Awakening. You know, I actually like that.
Those aren't even less though. Those are like 8 dungeons.
Right, but they don't I guess they don't have like you do the 3 dungeons and then a mid dungeon and then like 5, you know,
it's just a progression of dungeon after dungeon.
Yeah, it's I guess it's not that much less, but it feels like less because the scope is smaller. I don't know. So I don't know. I think
I think that's a super interesting thing to compare, because like Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and I think Link's Awakening all have the same number. I think they all have 8 that we have on this list, which I think is really cool. And then Ocarina of Time I think has like 9 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's cool to compare ones that have like numbers of dungeons to see what they shine in. But this whole thing is weird because like I do think there's a lot of information to be gleaned from these statistics, but at the same time it depends. It's like, I don't know, it's complex, and there's a bunch of different factors that go into what I would say makes what makes a Zelda game have good dungeons, quote unquote good dungeons. Because, for example, I have A Link to the Past at number 1 for power, you do too, and I think that's completely the result of there just being so many dungeons. and that there are any good ones in there. It's just adding up a bunch of numbers, so it's much more likely for A Link to the Past to be at the top of the power statistic. Mm-hmm. Conversely, I have it at the very bottom of my wisdom statistic, so it has the far and away the biggest range out of any, the most by the books, technically the most inconsistent dungeons. But that being said, like, I don't think of the dungeons, like, that's not a big deal to me because there are a bunch of dungeons. So because I know that there are a bunch of other good ones, or not even good ones necessarily, just because I know there are a bunch of other dungeons, like, it doesn't bother me if there's a stinker or two that are really low, you know?
For sure.
And then
it's not, and
Sorry, like, I have Adventure of Link and Legend of Zelda squarely at the top of my wisdom. But that's just because they're literally, like, sitting in their own little bubble at the bottom of my list. They're just consistently underwhelming compared to the rest of the dungeons in the series. But I also think that that's more indicative of... I think it makes sense then that they have the highest wisdom, because the things that I dislike about those dungeons, it's not even really the dungeon, it's just the limitations of the game. Mm-hmm. So they would just be at a disadvantage inherently compared to all the other ones. But
yeah, for sure. And I think too, it's like we're seeing, I think it's also just like maybe to the apples and oranges things, you're seeing, like, it's just like how the design of the dungeons kind of evolves over time, and sometimes it's like it can go, and I'm sure for a lot of people it's like it's always just like, oh, they've fine-tuned it and improved it. But for me it's less of a march of improvement over time, and more of like things change, you know what I mean, like the design philosophy changes, so like, and like the style of game, like you said with Legend of Zelda. So yeah, it's hard to compare sometimes. Like, I think about how I really like Ages and Link's Awakening, but they're like they have things, especially Ages has specific mechanics that are like they're pushing further in that evolution of the, like, Link's Awakening labyrinth style that's kind of taking from the original game, obviously. But now you see in Minish Cap, they're kind of incorporating some of like we talk about how that one sort of incorporates some of the more, I don't know, what the set piece nature of, like, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker dungeons.
Yeah, I would say almost like Wind Waker. It incorporates some of that set piece stuff. But
and that can work to great effect, but then there's certain things that are different than, say, like, even you can compare Dark Hyrule Castle to Ganon's Tower, A Link to the Past, and there's so many similarities, but it's also at a different place in the series where it's incorporated games that have come after it, and, like, certain styles of dungeon design that have been left in the past since A Link to the Past. And it's like, I don't know, for me it's not even, it just, I mean, this is true of everything, but I think it comes down to what sort of thing you like more. And, like, for me, you know, it's
exactly.
Like, well, there's sort of a balance, you know, there's things I like more and there's things I like less, but you know, for me it's like, yeah, it's not hitting the highs necessarily, but I could totally see how for other people, like all these dungeons would stand out as very memorable, and, like, would all be like, if someone were like, these are all my favorite dungeons in the series, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important that we have this Triforce of information, because, like, it's not, you can't take these statistics on their own and be like, definitively this is my ranking for the best dungeons per game, because, like, it doesn't, I look at some of these and I'm like, oh, I like that, I don't like that. I think Minish Cap is pretty high for me. I've always thought that Minish Cap has pretty dang good dungeons, and I would stand by that after this playthrough, definitely.
I think I agree.
I also have kind of, like, Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time are kind of floating up there too. But
I like my spread, how I have the dungeons. Like, I think we're kind of similar. We have like gaps in different places. I've kind of hinted this in the other videos. I think a spread across the list at this point is better for me, like I was saying, and I think I could see that with Minish Cap. I think Dark Hyrule Castle going up kind of raises how I think about the dungeons in my mind if I do that. Just this, arbitrary list abstraction where I'm like,
Yeah.
What's the perfect like layout for Zelda dungeons? The only thing I will say is, I said it in a previous episode, but I feel like Temple of Droplets for me is a good dungeon, but I feel like that was the position where that's where I was kind of hoping for. I don't know, even in there, like I actually think like there could have been a slightly more tricksy puzzle dungeon that could slot between these later, like, just kind of tough, like, gameplay / combat dungeons, and like the mid-level Fortress and Deepwood, which are like good establishment dungeons, and you got the sophomore slump. And honestly, that's it. I feel like, this game, it is okay if you want to just start with like Fortress of Winds being your first dungeon and it being more involved than like Tail Cave or like Eastern Palace. That's okay with me. Like, if you don't want to do the big wind up, like A Link to the Past gives you a big wind up before hitting you with like a bunch of crazy dungeons, that's okay with me. Especially on a more handheld game and with more involved like gimmicks and set pieces. I'm okay with that. I think the only thing for me that's like truly missing is like one more just really like
a
tease
real
your
brain buster. Yeah, that's fair. They could have had like a later game, like maybe not the last or second to last, but like I know what you mean. Almost like something to fit in like the Mermaid's Cave or Jabu Jabu's Belly.
Yeah, something that, like, because those dungeons, I'm a lot of people are like, those are the worst dungeons I can imagine. But for me, I like that it's like they really went for it. They really were like, we're gonna tease your brain.
I think this is a well-rounded game in terms of dungeons. It definitely could have. I think I think something that I've realized more on this playthrough is that like these dungeons are so much more focused on just gameplay, just cool gameplay things, which I think that's pretty neat. I definitely prefer like puzzle heavy stuff, but like that's got to be a testament to why I've held these dungeons so fondly and still do. They're just fun to play, I think. And something I was gonna say, what I remembered what I was gonna say, do you feel like you can also feel the Capcom DNA in some of these dungeons? Like in these and bit, like the Oracle games, I feel like they have certain design sensibilities that are I couldn't put my finger on like exactly what it is, but I feel like they're more likely to do random like that room in Oracle of Seasons where like it's just a bunch of traps and arrows and stuff shooting at you, and literally all you have to do is just walk right across.
Yes.
I feel like Capcom is much more likely to do something like that than Nintendo. Nintendo would probably be like, there's no point doing a dumb room like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like, you even saw it in this last dungeon, which is what makes me want to bump it, is because I like that it's like, let's throw a curveball at you type thing. I think you saw that in here, and I think that's why when I was thinking of the ones I have above it, like those Seasons dungeons and Moonlit Grotto and whatever else, is like those do have those elements where it's like they will just throw something at you that you do not see coming.
Yeah. Sometimes it's for better or for worse. I don't think it always lands, but I do think that's a neat little thing that they do.
Well, this has been a long one, but this was a lot of fun. Minish Cap was a fun journey. Like I said already, I liked doing the gameplay. We got Twilight Princess next.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we'll take.
Oh baby.
What's that?
Oh baby.
Oh, I thought you said it's my baby. Like the game is your baby.
I mean, I do like Twilight Princess.
Yeah. I'm not fully gonna say what I'm doing for it because I don't know. I don't like to announce things until it's actually
until
happening.
it's set in stone.
But I think I'm gonna maintain the gameplay element. I think it just makes these more fun to do. It's definitely less, like the thoughts are organized in a way. I've tried to organize them in previous ones where this is more we're encountering them and we're addressing them and we're reacting to the things throwing at us. But I think we're gonna maintain it. It's a lot of fun to do it this way. And I don't know, each game I've tried to think of what's a good way to either cover this properly to honor the game or just like what makes it the most fun to do. And so I do have some, like, it's nothing crazy, but I think, I might do a little bit different or extra things related to Twilight Princess. We'll see, but not gonna fully announce it. And hopefully we'll have Corey back.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll be there. Don't you worry.
But yeah, Corey, thank you. This was another fun season.
Absolutely. And you know what? Something I'm really excited for. I don't even think we've gotten to like some of my favorite dungeons yet. I think we have a pretty decent chunk on my list, at least, where it's like I can look at them and be like, those are among my favorite dungeons. I think we have yet to hit the full stride. I think there's gonna start to be moments where it's like the top of my list and like the upper chunk is starting to get really swollen.
Oof. Okay. I don't know how it's gonna lay out. I think with these games, like, we've gotten a good range of types of dungeons and stuff. So it's actually, even though it's harder, it's more fun to slot these in for me personally, because now I'm like, ooh, I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking at Minish Cap and trying to think of contextually. I'm seeing my chunks of green, bright green, and being like, what does this mean? When these are here and there's this split here, and I'm like trying to divine if I can, like I said, I'm looking, if there was a dungeon in Minish Cap that slotted somewhere in here, like, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fun. It's I don't know. This has been quite the journey all through all of these games, and it's, gosh, I don't even think we're halfway done.
No.
Oh. But
got a lot of dungeons to go.
I'm so excited to do Twilight Princess. The big thing is I think what I have planned is gonna do it in a way that makes it fun for me. Like with Minish Cap, I tried to do it in a way that would make the game the most fun for me, and because I want to, just for me personally, this is more of self-gratification, but I like coming through it and being like, this was a great journey through these games, because we spend months on them sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I left Minish Cap being like, that was a great game. Like, I had such a fun ride. And I think Twilight Princess it's gonna take even longer, because there's more dungeons, and it's a freaking long game. And who knows, we might be slogging through City in the Sky. But I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a journey. It's gonna take over my channel for way too long, probably, but who cares? I could do this all day. If I could do this for the rest of my life, or if, who knows what could happen in the future. But for now, we're just gonna keep ranking Zelda dungeons. That's just like our life.
Once we get to the end, we should just start over. Because by the time we get to the end, it's gonna have been so long that those opinions are gonna be outdated. So we're gonna have to check them again.
I'm looking at the bottom and I'm like, man, I wanna, like, I love Legend of Zelda. I love that
it's
game.
a great game.
Maybe I gotta get
this
Grumble
is,
Grumble up higher, you know?
This is for anyone listening, like, that's definitely a great way to like recontextualize your love of a game. Is like go into it with a certain thing in mind.
Yes,
like dungeons,
story,
like
dungeon, whatever.
Exactly.
You know,
the fine details, like the the world, stuff like that.
If you're a weirdo who needs to play the game over and over like us, and most of us Zelda fans are like that. We just love playing these games over and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially for dungeons. Like going into a game and being like, I'm really gonna pay attention to the dungeons and how they do the dungeons and what the dungeons are like.
Yeah. Well, shoot, let's get out of here. We gotta go live our lives.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Let's go to bed. You know.
I gotta go sleep.
All right, Corey. Well, good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.